you're having a great day. This is Rita with Set With Love from Rita, and we're going to be on our second of our series for happy celebrations. And we'll be using Celebrate today of this stamp set. And I just want to bring in the two colors that are my inspiration today. And that's Island Indigo and Pear Pizzazz. Really love those two colors together. But what I did, I'm going to bring in this glorious piece of paper. I used the Brusho Crystal again. And today I just used the blue and the yellow because I was trying to get this Island Indigo and this green color for kind of my own designer paper. And so if you remember what I did with that yellow flower card, I had some designer paper that can really look awesome. In making that color, we can use the yellow and the blue. As you remember, I used that to make a teal color before, and that was with our butterfly, so that you can get the whole spectrum from blue to green with these two colors. It doesn't just have to be bright green. It doesn't have to be bright blue or bright yellow. You can see this is a very muted blues and greens. Just absolutely love it. And you're gonna see why as I bring in some of my other elements. And so the other element is this glitter paper. And what I did was I cut out that glitter paper with my Sunshine Wishes die. Again, this came in the kit. I'm trying to be really as true as I can to what came in my kit. And so I cut out two of these beautiful flowers I'm going to create with these papers something really beautiful. Again, true to my kit, the label, lots of labels, framelits. Then let me just show you what I did here. So I spritzed this piece of watercolor paper with my spritzer like I've done in the past. Got that paper really good and wet, and you want to be over some plastic, maybe some plastic wrap or something to protect your surface. So I spritzed this really well, and then I just began to shake the blue all over the paper. And then I came in with the yellow in spots next to the blue. You can see right in this spot that after I got the yellow in there, and I was using a little bit of a paintbrush to make up the teal, get that yellow and blue stirred together to get in a softer greenish green-blue color. Then I went over it again with another spritz of the blue to give it that speckled look. And then I just kind of rolled it around a little bit. You just play around with it. It's very fun. This is where art comes alive. And then when I was happy with how it looked, I took out my heat gun and I started to stop the process by heating the paper and stopping the wetness. Okay. And then once I was done with that, before the paper would get all warped, I placed it on a napkin or paper towel, and I put something on top of it to keep the paper more flat. So these are my colored elements that we're going to work with today. I would like to show you that this is going to be my card that I'm going to use to place these elements on. So in placing this paper on there, I'll show you how I decided to tear this edge. I really love the cream. With this card, I'm going to be having it open from the side this time. I wanted a torn edge. I'll bring in the full piece of paper that I did this process on. You can see the pretty way the watercolor comes on the edge. I really do love that. But I was going to tear this off in order to reveal the ivory. And so I took my aqua painter and came down that line, gave it a minute or two to get that watercolor paper good and wet, and then I put it along the edge of my table here, and I tore it in a more artistic way with a curve not just straight. Bringing in these curves is really beautiful, and it causes the paper to be torn on the edge. If you can see, gives it a more handmade paper look. All right, so that was my first element in this card, was to get myself some designer paper. And then the second element was to cut out this glitter paper. And I'm going to place these on here in an artistic way. And then I'm going to have the cutout from my lots of labels right here. And that's going to have our sentiment. So pretty simple card. The most work is just going to be creating this lovely paper in whatever colors that you like. So let's get started in assembling this card. So I'd like to go over with you the elements in which I created this card. So we're using Celebrate from Happy Celebrations, and that's this stamp. It's pretty large. I really love it though, that it's that perfectly large size. So bringing in my lots of labels, it would be the third one in that I used that fits the Celebrate exactly, as you can see here. And so I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I don't like to waste paper, especially if you've created paper like this and no one's gonna see underneath this sentiment. So cut out a little piece of it to use in another project. Okay, that's the first step. I cut this out of the Island Indigo and then cut that out of the designer paper. Then I stamped Celebrate with my Versamark. Then I put crystal clear on it, and while it was still hot, I sprinkled it with dazzling diamonds. Okay, and that just gives it that little bit of, you know, glitz that's going to go with the other pieces of this. So, you know, there's a little bit, but we didn't want a lot to take away from the glitziness of these flowers. So that's how I created the sentiment. And I used, so Versamark, Pear Pizzazz, the crystal clear, heated that up, then sprinkled it with dazzling diamonds just to give it a little bit more glitz. So here is the completed card. And let's just go over the elements of this. So we did our designer paper. We cut out our floral, 2 pieces with Sunshine Wishes flower. We stamped Celebrate with our Versamark pad, our Pear Pizzazz clear embossing powder, which then grasped some of that dazzling diamonds to give it a little glitz. And then when I pushed the one flower, I put it down behind the label, tucking its end down in. And the other one I came on top, clipped it off right by where the R starts, and placed a piece of it here. And then these came in a paper pumpkin of mine recently for a little bit of glitz at the end of that line that underlines Celebrate. We also had wet this edge with our aqua painter, let that set for a minute or two, and tore it in a very decorative edge. And then inside I've stamped New Beginnings. That's also from the Happy Celebrations that we are using in our set. There we go, New Beginnings. And this card is for my 94-year-old friend Fran, who is having a new beginning. She's going into an assisted living, and I just wanted to give her a really pretty card to make it kind of fun that she's having a change in her life. This is a piece of paper that came from our cutting off the bottom of our designer paper. I try not to waste anything when you're making this beautiful paper. We'll find something to do with that. And then remember the hint that I took a smaller label and cut out the interior of that. No reason to waste that paper by covering it over like that. No one will ever be the wiser. So I hope you liked this simple card today and that you got some tips and tricks on how to make a really gorgeous card, and enjoy that Brusho crystal and make yourself some designer paper with it. We'll see you next time in our series of happy celebrations when we do a birthday card with some balloons, and we're going to use again a little bit of our designer paper, and it'll be a similar looking card but different in the same breath. And I hope you have a really awesome day today. Enjoy the sunshine of the new spring weather, and I will see you again soon as we think more about flowers and less about snow. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching me, and please subscribe. Click on the little bell so you'll get notified when I post a new card. If you need anything, just go to my website or check out the links below.